What's up, everybody? We are back. John Delarose here, delarose.com. That's DELARROZ.com. Go over there and grab my newsletter subscription because when you do, you'll get a free novel, a free novella, and a free graphic novel. You're really not going to get a great deal like that anywhere else on the internet. So you should hit the link down in the description below and sign up. All right. This is something I got from Vox Day's blog the other day, and I didn't know they were even making a Night Watch television show or movie or whatever the heck they're planning on doing with it. But this is one of the first fantasy novels I read. Gosh, I don't even know how many years ago at this point. I was mostly just strictly a sci-fi guy once growing up, and I kind of veered away from fantasy. But I read this at the urging of my friend Peter, who actually got me the book, and it was so fantastic. It was a lot of fun, a lot of depth, of course, a lot of really witty jokes, which probably several of them can't even be told in comedic context today because comedy is not allowed. And just a beautiful narrative, which really spun a lot together. So I'm glad I read this. As Vox says, it is Terry Pratchett's best book. It is very, very good, conveying genuine emotion and adding considerable depth to characters that in previous subsequent books are a little more than vehicles for passing humor. I consider it to be one of the best 25 fantasy novels ever written. And I could probably agree with that assessment right there. So everybody's, of course, seeing that they're going to make a BBC show out of this. And every time I see a show at this point of anything, especially a fantasy or sci-fi book that I love, I'm so skeptical. I mean, you saw what they were trying to do with the Wheel of Time, and then they put out this video to try to keep the license or whatever they had to do to release that. And they showed that, and it was just the biggest train wreck I've ever seen in my entire life. And this just seems to happen across the board. It seems like these Hollywood TV writers or whatever you want to call the film industry just can't capture the spirit of a lot of these great writers. And it's because, there are hacks running the industry at this point. There's really very few competent writers at all in the industry. Let alone directors and producers. And then you get all the corporations meddling in this stuff. And there's no way you're going to turn out a good product. I mean, we saw the other day that Amazon Prime is talking about how they're going to put some nudity and sexuality into Lord of the Rings. It's like, can you imagine that? This is just making J.R.R. Tolkien spin in his grave. I mean, this is the type of stuff he would have never wanted his work associated with at all. And when Christopher Tolkien was taking care of things, of course, he was very careful about curating his father's content and legacy. Now that he's gone, that reverence is gone with it. And a lot of writers like Terry Pratchett just don't have people watching out for them like Tolkien had with his son Christopher. So we have this commentary right here. I've been dreading the BBC's The Watch for a while. It had the words, a bold reimagining by the BBC. Whenever you see bold reimagining, you just know that they're going to go in such a direction that's just a disaster. I don't even know. So I knew it would be bad, but oh my effing F. It's much more horrible than I ever could have imagined it to be. This isn't just a tried and adaptation that misses the mark. There was nothing well-meaning about this at all. This is a deliberate and hideous destruction of a man's life work. And that's what we see. It's always a deconstruction of the work. If you look at comic books these days and the fan fiction that's created based on Stan Lee's properties, if you look at so many films based on other properties, it's always a deconstruction. The writer wants to put their spin on it. They want to be the new Alan Moore creating the next Watchmen, where they're showing snarkily and darkly how bad these old works really were, and they can do it with a smug little grin in the hopes that they get some critical accolades. It's so tired at this point. It's so sad to just watch our culture get into this endless cycle of regurgitating different works and in a poor manner, regurgitating sequels, regurgitating fan fiction. And that's all this stuff is. They never want to actually just faithfully adapt and retell something, because they feel like there's just not that much in the work for them when they do it. They don't feel creatively satisfied. They have this mentality where they believe as writers that if they just did a faithful adaptation, they would be somehow diminishing their own work, and that they're just as good or better than somebody like Terry Pratchett, even though they're definitely not. And they can produce something on par or better on their own merits. And unfortunately, it never works out every single time. It's just so, so sad to watch. And, I don't really have an answer for it, because as long as the public audience is dumbed down to the level that they are, where they're just sitting here going, I just want the brand. If I have a brand I like, if it says Star Wars on it, I'm going to go see it opening day, no matter how bad it is. As long as you've got that mentality in our public, there's no way we're going to have beautiful works of art like the original Night Watch book ever again. It's so sad. Well, that's just another reason to support independent content, independent books, comics, films, whatever it is. Stay away from the corporations, support indies. I hope you'll check out my books. I've got my link to Amazon down in the description below. Let me know what you think about this. Have you seen BBC's The Watch? I'm not going to try it out, because I'll just get into a blood-fueled rage, a blood rage-fueled whatever. Oh, well. Hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys soon.